What is going on, guys? I am Marcus and this is the Reformation Woodshop. Today's plan was to show you guys how I do these scroll saw signs using a scroll saw. But that is not what's going to happen. After using the scroll saw for so many years, it has now crapped out on me. So, because of this issue, I'm going to attempt to finish the sign with the bandsaw. So I'm going to go back to the beginning of this project, right before the scroll saw just wasn't cutting it for me. The first thing I do whenever I start a sign like this is I get all of my designs or lettering printed out, tape them together, and then I take some spray adhesive and lay down a nice thin layer on whatever I'll be cutting. You want to make sure that everything you need cut is properly adhered to your piece, which in my case is MDF. The last thing you want is to be cutting a detail and your paper separate from your piece. A lot of times I'll lightly sand the surface of whatever I'm going to be spraying, just in case there's any fibers or rough spots that may get in the way of the paper adhering. Hey, look at the camera. Say hi.
Hi.
Cheese. For a little while I'd been having trouble with the mechanism that moves the blade. I opened the machine up and noticed a bolt had broken loose on it, so I replaced it, and it worked pretty good for a little while, but as you can see it can't even cut half-inch MDF with a brand new blade. It is now above my pay grade when it comes to fixes at this point, so I'm just sadly gonna have to move on from it. Bandsaws are pretty good at getting scroll-like cuts if they need to, but typically they're not the first tool that you go to get it done. So because of that information, instead of going straight after the letters right away, I do my best to take away as much material as possible so that the blade can move a bit more freely. With the more blocky or basic fonts like this one, the cuts that you make with the bandsaw are basically identical with the cuts that you'd make with a scroll saw. The difficulty comes when you go after a font that's a little bit more handwritten, or any style of design that has a large number of curves to it. My wife always complains about the way I stain, because I like to just slosh a rag full of stain right down on the workpiece, but I dig it, so the method stays. I know for a fact there's a better way to paint these small pieces, but we don't do better ways on this channel. Almost every time we're doing something, we do it the hard way, and that's just the way it's gonna stay. If you've not had any experience painting with a spray paint can, then you'll probably wonder why I'm not just holding down the nozzle and letting it rip. That's because it's really easy to apply too much paint and create runoff or drip. When you feather your sprays, you can control how much is applied and avoid overspraying. I really liked the way this came out, so you know I had to get a nice little hipster shot of it for the gram. So after all my pieces have dried, my next step is getting everything arranged where it needs to be. If you're working on something that has a good amount of small pieces, it might be a good idea to take a picture of how it's supposed to look before you cut everything out. You don't want to end up forgetting where things belong. In my case, there was only a few small pieces to this mountain, so I didn't have to worry about taking a photo, but I could have easily lost one of these or put it in the wrong place. So, just for reference, maybe take a photo. When it comes to making sure everything is in the right place, there are tons of things you can do to make sure all of your letters are straight. I usually lay them out where I think that they should be, and then I'll use a level or a square to keep them lined up while I glue them down. If you want to make sure that everything is spaced perfectly, you can add little spacer blocks between each letter to ensure that they're exact. I feel like I've gotten pretty good at eyeballing it, so I just use a square under each letter to make sure that they're all basically sitting on the same level line. I actually ended up needing to do another sign for a quick gift, so I had to do this one on the bandsaw as well. I've probably done about 20 signs now, and every single one of them was glued up with this Star Bond adhesive. It just glues so freaking fast that there's no way I would use anything else. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching my video. Although this is not what I intended to make, I am happy with the result. I love the signs, I think they're great. Although the bandsaw was alright at getting the job done, I will 100% be getting a scroll saw in the near future. There's no way I can keep doing these signs with the bandsaw. Anyways, I hope you learned something, and I will see you guys in the next video.